Just adding a little more Indian yellow to tighten up the definition around the nose here. The nostril on the far side of the nose was sticking out a little bit too much, so I just want to obliterate that. There we go. That's more like it. Just adding in another patch of the mane here. So using the Silurian blue. Combined with some titanium white again. And then adding some ultramarine to that mix. Let's just darken that entire area. In fact, that's better. So I've let the paint dry, and it's always useful to step away from the painting for a little while, because when you come back to it you can see the work more objectively. And I now notice that the shape of the horse's head isn't quite right. So again, I'm using the Indian yellow, and I'm just going to adjust the shape. Not very much, just a little bit here. And then with that adjustment, I now need to make another minor adjustment to the shape of the nose. And again, I use more of the Indian yellow to soften that area as it goes towards the background. And we can tidy up the ear at the same time. This one too. And we need a bit more down by the nose, just to make sure we can't see any of the old work. I just want to add a bit more of a coppery tone to the hindquarters, so let's mix up some cadmium red, Indian yellow, and a touch of ultramarine, the old favourite. And let's see what that looks like on the painting. That's a little bit too bright. More of the ultramarine. Still a little bit bright, but I'm going to go with that and just put a thin layer on. Just wet my brush a little bit to make the paint that bit more translucent. You can see I'm just very lightly scraping the paint across the surface. I think when that dries back that will actually blend in quite well, but I will just add a little more ultramarine blue to that mix. Come along this edge here. Put a touch of that over there. Then a bit more red and ultramarine blue. And then let's reintroduce that grey-blue highlight using some of the colour we've already got mixed up on the palette. That's not quite the colour I wanted, but I actually quite like the effect. So for the moment at least, I'm going to leave that as it is. Let's just maybe define the edge of the horse's leg there a little bit more. That's better. I now see that where I wiped off the yellow paint earlier, that needs to be improved. I'd forgotten momentarily that I'd removed quite so much paint. So let's fill that in. There we go. And of course, no painting is ever truly finished. You know, you could keep working into it and into it and into it, but at some point you have to make a decision and say to yourself, well, I think that's pretty much finished. Just going to add my signature now. I'm going to use watercolour marker. Often I use the brush, but for today, let's just bury my little monogram here, just on the edge of the undergrowth. And once the painting's dry, that's ready for photographing. If you're interested in having a closer look at the finished painting so you can see the colours and brushwork in more detail, you may remember that I mentioned earlier in the videos that on my website there's a high resolution preview. So if you'd like to take a look at that, you need to go to mikejewelry.co.uk, or you can go to .com if you prefer. Once you reach the welcome page, simply click on the Continue to Galleries link, and then on the second row you'll find a gallery of horse paintings. If you click on that, then you can then locate the painting that we did in the videos, which at the moment is the first painting in the gallery. Click on that, and then you get a preview of the finished painting. And then you can click anywhere on the painting and you can see a little green square appears. If you click again, then you'll get the full resolution preview, so you can compare the brushwork on the horse to the brushwork used in the foliage down at the bottom, for example.